All right, my friends, here we go. I'd ask you to take a nice breath in and an easy Let the breathing come back to normal. Welcome back. My name is Drake, and this is Touching the Edge. And for me, this is about a supportive relationship to finding beauty in the midst of the challenges that we are all faced with. So today I want to ask you a kind of a simple question. So it's a simple question. I don't know if it has a simple answer. So the question I have is that are you the mind that thinks, or are you the mind that listens? Are you the mind that thinks, the thoughts happening inside your consciousness? Or are you the mind that is listening and paying attention to that process? So I'm curious what your impression is. Take a moment. It seems obvious, but maybe it's not so. I want to give you my impression. My impression is that it's like a lot of elements, it's not as simple as it seems. The yin-yang symbol, that flow into each other? In many ways, that's kind of that relationship. You have the thought process, the thinking self. All the way back, was it Descartes who said, "I think, therefore I am"? That statement is really the basis of Western mental health philosophy. I think, therefore I am. Now, on another level, so that thinking is sort of the yang energy, that projection. The yin energy is receptive. It's receiving. It's listening. It's in contact with our intuition. This is the yin energy. And so they're swirling around together, and then there's that basis that has the entirety, the circle that is that swirl. And we actually exist even outside of that. We are the observer of all of that. This whole element is our life, and we are caught up in the flow of our life. Sometimes we're thinking, sometimes we're receiving. And yet, if we step back far enough, we are the observer. And so I want to suggest to you that ultimately who you are is that listening mind. And it's really even beyond the mind, because the mind is really part of consciousness, that listening awareness, that luminescent awareness. And when we are in that space, suddenly we get in contact with our most authentic self. If we are listening and so caught up in what's happening in the world, the worry and the fear of what might happen in the very next half hour, what ends up happening is we lose contact with our own authenticity, which is the flow of inspiration and intuition that's going to lead us to where we need to go. So I want to suggest to you to come from the beginning of the equation: stillness, emptiness, spaciousness, calmness, and then move through all the way where it needs to go in terms of manifestation practice. Understanding the thought process is a tool that is a manifestation tool. The words that we think are a manifestation tool. They're a way of directing our energy and our focus so we create the lives that we want. Understand that on some level, the thought process is a conditioned response. And let's begin to condition ourselves towards the direction that we actually want to go in, rather than in this constant resistance and constant connection to dislike and anger. I'm not saying that we should not be setting limits, however. I'm simply saying, let's do it from a stillness, a calmness. And maybe you might find that the limits you set are much more appropriately set and much more effectively carried through. I'm going to ring the bell. I'm going to ask you to listen carefully. Here we go. I want to suggest that there is a delightedness in looking in the mirror and understanding that at our deepest level, we are at peace. I bring my hands into prayer position and I bow to you, because at the deepest level, we are in contact with each other. Namaste. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.